You know, I love to point out hypocrisy in, well, today's political landscape is a target-rich environment, to say the least. But, you know, I was just laughing at Jeremiah Wright in front of the National Press Club breakfast, you know. I caught a little bit of that charade, and I saw some of the Bill Moyer stuff, and it's so, I don't know if you call it ironic or hypocritical, but you know, he really got on the media. I saw him at the press club breakfast saying, you know, well, that's just like the media. You know, I saw him on Bill Moyer saying, well, it was untrue. I was victimized. And I just don't know how people like that can turn around and blame the media when they've received a virtual pass from the media for years. You know, when Jesse Jackson refers to New York City as Hymietown, referring to the heavy Jewish population there, this is forgot about. This is forgotten about. It created a minor stir at the time, but it's forgotten about. And now Jesse Jackson stands up every time there's some issue, and he wants to be the moral authority. And he wants to be the voice of morality in the situation. And nobody brings up the fact that, you know, he had a child out of wedlock with a woman when he was supposed to be a Baptist minister. And he used money from his foundation to pay her not to say anything. Nobody says, well, Reverend Jackson, weren't you calling Jews the equivalent of the N-word when you call New York City Hymietown? He gets a total pass. Al Sharpton, calling Jewish store owners white interlopers, accusing New York City police of raping Tawana Brawley when it never happened. And then turning around and saying, sitting down with the DA in the case, who was a Jew, would be like sitting down with Hitler himself. And that's all forgiven. The supporters and the people that Al Sharpton showed up to support burned Freddie's Fashion Mart to the ground, killing 7 people in the process. In the Crown Heights riot, Sharpton led protesters in the streets who later killed a man simply because he was Jewish. Then, at the young man's funeral, who was involved in the case, he calls Hasidic Jews diamond merchants. Yet he's still allowed to stand up in a public square and feign moral indignation at the things that are going on in our country today. And nobody says anything. Nobody says anything. CNN lets him trot out there every time Don Imus or somebody similar makes some politically incorrect comment. And then here these two come as the moral guide. And they get a total pass. And Jeremiah Wright's no different. Jeremiah Wright is no different. He sits there and he spews his hatred from that pulpit for years. For years. It was well known. It was well known. Didn't just pop up on YouTube one day. It was well known. His views in that community. You don't go traipsing around the globe with Louis Farrakhan just for a day off. Okay? This guy had associations. This guy had consistent speech of hatred. And nothing was said for the longest time until one of his congregants sought the nomination of the Democratic Party for the President of the United States. Nobody calls the left on anything in the media. And finally, when one of these guys is closely associated with a candidate for the United States of America, and things are brought to light, 12 months after the fact, by the way, 6 months after it was well known by the alternative media and on the internet, the mainstream media finally comes along, reports on it, puts it out there a little bit, and then he's going to go on Bill Moyers and in front of the press club and complain about his treatment. Well, you're in front of the National Press Club, Reverend Wright. How are you going to trash the media? The media's been wrong all this time. They've been unfair to you. Then why are you going on Bill Moyers? Bill Moyers is the only person in the whole media that got it right. Everybody else got it wrong. But he got it right. You went on his show and said it straight, and he gave you a fair shake. But they've been out to get you this whole time. But not Bill Moyers. We're supposed to believe Bill Moyers is just a straight shooter. And the National Press Club? You're sitting there criticizing the media at a breakfast for the National Press Club? Come on, these guys gave you a forum to get out there and spew more of your hatred. And you're going to turn around and criticize the press? The press only went after you a little bit because it was finally so obvious of what an issue this was that they started to look bad if they didn't cover it. They gave you a pass. They gave you more than a pass. And they would have let you ride all the way. But it finally became too much and too obvious for them to ignore. So don't turn around and criticize the media after you receive a pass and your type has gone unchallenged by the media for years, and you specifically, for months before they finally gave this any type of play at all. Don't blame the media. You're not a victim. You've been a beneficiary.